Hi friends and miniaturists and crafters. This is my last video for a while. We are downsizing and we have put my miniatures in storage. This is the last one to go into storage. That's part of the reason why I was doing the videos, so that I would have pictures of them. The only one I'm keeping out is my barn that I'm working on going. So I wanted to do a little video of this one. This has a lot in it, although I try to be short and not keep you too long. And this is called Cromer by the Sea. Cromer by the Sea was done as a tribute to my dad, who was a merchant marine before he came to Canada after the war and settled in Nova Scotia, met my mom, and then they opened a poultry farm together outside of HRM, which is where I grew up. So, but the ocean never left my dad. He said, "You can't take the water out of the boy," and I believe it was passed down to me. I love the water, I love the ocean. So I'll get right down to some of the interesting things in here. Some of the things that I have purchased and that were special to me seem to fit in here nicely. So, and also I created some things, and there are other things in here which I have modified. So, of course, the leather books. There's a leather book there on the chair, and you'll find leather books throughout, which was one of the things that I make regularly. This is really cool. If you can see in here, there's a bag of PEI potatoes. That's a printy that you can get online, and that actually is made. That was made, I think my sister came for visit Kathy, and we made those together. The bronze water heater, which is what they had in England just to heat up enough water to use, that I purchased in New Hampshire at a name gathering, the National Association of Miniature Enthusiasts, and that was a really prized piece of mine. I kept it until I had the right place for it, and this seems to be, and then I made the sink to go with it, which is a copper-lined old farm sink. And then this little stove that's in the corner, this is a replica of one that my dad purchased for his mother with his first paycheck when he went to sea. So that's an old gas cooker from years ago. So that's pretty cool. The type of food you see on the table here, the old teapot, and this teapot's cool. It's made out of dimes. I gotta show you this. It's really cool. So where's it? So there's on. It's made in the U.S. So the bottom is a 10-cent piece. It's a dime, and the top has been hammered out, and that was a 10-cent piece as well. So I bought that because I liked it. I thought it was so cool, and it's really quite heavy, so it stays in place nicely too. So it's just a little tiny cottage. The fisherman in there is mending nets while he's looking out over the ocean, and there's his book and his glasses. Some favorite things on the windowsill are the licorice all sorts and the pipe. There's never a fisherman that doesn't have a pipe. And there's the looking glass. So if he sees a boat go by out in the water, I did not make this. I purchased this piece at I forget where I got that. Yeah. Anyway, I would mention that, but I can't remember. And so let's see what else is pretty cool here. Oh, this. I made that wall hanging from a kit. I actually have a full-size one on my wall that came from the old farm, which I love. And there's the bedroom upstairs. It's just a little bed with some nautical books, flag book, some reading, and a trunk with clothes and blankets in it, and an old accordion. My dad used to play the old accordion. He found one in the war. The organ grinder had died, and there was the monkey. Excuse me, this sounds whacked, but it's true. There was the monkey and the organ were left, and so excuse me, he took the monkey and the organ back onto the ship with them, and he had that monkey named Jocko on the ship with him for a while. And often I'll play truth or dare with people, and I'll talk about the monkey that my dad had, And then we purchased one, or rescued one, and had it on the farm for a while. Nobody believes me. I'm not a fan of monkeys, but we did have one. So in order to get up into the bed, there's a little catch there, and then there's a little rope ladder. So you just take this little hook, which is obviously something to bring nets in from the water, and then climb up the ladder into your bunk for the night. Some cool things. There's some reels there with thread on them for fixing fishing nets. And that's a replica of a boat that my dad gave my kids, and they painted it and they named it Granddad's Gift. It was yellow. It was just like this. It's sunk. It's in the middle of Darling's Lake in Yarmouth right now. And that's what happened to that boat. So on this side, on the outside, you'll see a little place where there's a little workshop area, and that's a replica of my full-size dollhouse, my 1/12 dollhouse. Actually, not a great replica, but it indicates that this man is there building a dollhouse, because that is where my love for miniatures started, with my dad purchasing me a dollhouse. One of 7 kids, kind of you get left out sometimes. As an adult, when I had 2 boys and I wanted to think about whether we wanted another one, someone said, "Won't you miss having a girl?" And I said, "Well, not really, although I've always kind of wanted a dollhouse." And I was probably in my, I don't know, mid-20s, maybe close to my late 20s. And my dad said, "You never had a dollhouse?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You wanted one?" And I said, "Yeah." So he bought me a dollhouse when I was an adult, and that's how I started my miniature collection and my love of miniatures. This cool. This is made of paper. Yeah, so I made that out of paper. Paper's amazing for miniatures. And then I just used a product that ages things and makes it rusty. Same with this little bathtub. That's just a plastic reproduction that I purchased somewhere in a craft store, and then I aged it and rusted it, excuse me. This bench is neat. This is made by a friend of mine who does not age things and has everything pristine, and I did ask her permission. I said, I'm going to mess this up. And I put some coffee stains and paint stains on one end of it, and that little blue thing I actually found on the beach, and I thought, that would make something really cool in a miniature, so I took it, and it seems to fit nicely there. There's some nets drying for the day. Lots of boys hanging up, getting ready for the fishermen to go out. I love this chimney. The chimney is totally rusty, and there's the old, I don't even know what that is. I guess that's the propane tank that I put in there to power the stove, but guess what? Wait, is it in the right place? Yeah, it is. It's right behind the stove, so it is in the right place. But that's our intellectual ability. We give ourselves permission to put a stove pipe on the side of the house and then have the stove over on the other end. And so it's kind of like a puzzle for people to figure out what doesn't work. That one works, so we're okay now. Little barrel there, and I just messed that one up a bit. That I believe is that's a handcrafted barrel. And I bought that in New Hampshire as well. Some really cool little bird here. If you look on the window, there's a little hummingbird. Here's my finger. That's a little hummingbird. Yeah. And there is water underneath. This is hard water, and it's a resin product. Before I put the resin product in, I put layers of fish underneath. So there's a big skate. We used to have skate at the cottage when we were kids, which was in Malagash Mines. There was skate all the time. We used to swim with the skate. There's probably some skate eggs in here too. There's a little loon sitting on the side. I like my little seagulls on the top, because you can't have anything by the ocean without having seagulls, and of course they're leaving a mess behind. Naughty birds. I don't think I forgot anything. I think I got everything. Some tools there on the tools. This is a cool rig too. I like that oil can. Isn't that neat? I'll put my finger there too so you can see how small it is. So this is a really big project. It took me a long time, but I love it. This one makes me feel happy. When I look at it, it makes me think about my dad, and I'm glad I have it. This will go to one of my kids someday. Yeah, thanks for watching.